Joined by our TSN senior hockey reporter Frank Seravalli. And Frank, if play does resume and we do jump right into the Stanley Cup playoffs, the NHL's got to come up with some good options to determine who makes it into the postseason. What two ideas make the best sense to you in deciding this year's 16 playoff teams?
Gino, there's been no shortage of discussion about the idea of points percentage, so that's one option for sure. But the other that I've talked to a number of people around the league about is a 68-game rollback. And the premise is pretty simple. Since every team in the NHL has played at least 68 games, any games played beyond that would be wiped from the standings. And credit in this case goes to the OHL because that's exactly what they did to determine their final standings for their draft.
All right, so deciding things with 68 games and 68 games only or points percentage, which idea makes better sense to you?
I think it's the 68-game rollback because this gets every team in the NHL to exactly level ground. No more discussion about, well, I had more points when the standings were frozen, or I could potentially get there based on points percentage. Everyone's played the same number of games, and the interesting thing is it produces the same 16 teams that would get in based on points percentage as well as the 68-game rollback. Not only that, but it produces juicier matchups in the first round. I mean, take a look at the Western Conference. You'd have a Battle of Alberta going on at the same time as Vegas against Nash Vegas. And then in the Eastern Conference, you'd have the Caps versus the Pens. That would be Sidney Crosby against Alex Ovechkin. Who doesn't love that? That would be some sensory overload in the first round, Gino.
So, Frank, even if we do land on your 68-game system, there's still another issue to be resolved as well.
Well, yeah, that's which 68 games are we taking? Is it the first 68 games of the season or the last 68 for teams that have played more than that? In this case, if you're the Winnipeg Jets, a team that's out if it's the first 68 games, you're probably arguing, hey, let's take the last 68. We entered the pause on a hot streak, and these games in the playoff chase should be worth more than games at the very beginning of the season in October. I think that's a faulty argument to make. Games in October are 2 points just as valuable then, and not only that, you'd be giving teams a running start. So I don't think you can do that. I think you have to take the first 68 games. And Gino, if there's not going to be regular season hockey played, just about the only guarantee you can make is that some team somewhere is going to be left unhappy.
Interesting idea, but as you say, it's going to create some debate. And with that in mind, you've created a poll on your TSN Frank Seravalli Twitter feed. It'll be interesting to hear what the fans have to say about this.